Am besten genau so da. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Braja Janaranjana 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 Jaya Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai.
hat gefragt, welche Vers.
47 dachte ich. Stand auf dem Plan.
Okay,
Ist 47 dran?
ja, sie hat 48 geschrieben, aber.
Ha?
Ist das 47? Nee, das ist Naveda ist 48.
Naveda ist 48.
Aber ich glaube, 47 wurde nicht gemacht. Oder?
Wir können beide lesen. Wir machen beide einfach. Should we do English? Everybody understands English. Sprichst du auch Englisch? Yes. Ich glaube, alle sprechen Englisch. Dann machen wir Englisch. Kann ich die englische Gita haben? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we're reading today from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 11, the universal form, text 47 and 48. So I'll do first 47 by myself and then we'll chant together text 48. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. This you can chant together. The next we have to chant by myself. Maya prasanena tavarjunedam rupam param darshitam atma yogat tejomayam vishvam ananta adyam yanme tvad anyena nadrisha purvam. Translation on purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you by my internal potency this supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring opulence, effulgence." Purport. Arjuna wanted to see the universal form of the Supreme Lord, so Lord Krishna, out of his mercy upon his devotee Arjuna, showed his universal form full of effulgence and opulence. This form was glaring like the sun, and its many faces were rapidly changing. Krishna showed this form just to satisfy the desire of his friend Arjuna. This form was manifested by Krishna through his internal potency, which is inconceivable by the human speculation. No one has seen this universal form of the Lord before Arjuna, but because the form was shown to Arjuna, other devotees in the heavenly planets and in other planets in outer space could also see it. They had not seen it before, but because of Arjuna, they were also able to see it. In other words, all the disciplic devotees of the Lord could see the universal form which was shown to Arjuna by the mercy of Krishna. Someone has commented that this form was shown to Duryodhana also, when Krishna went to Duryodhana to negotiate peace. Unfortunately, Duryodhana did not accept the peace offer, but at the time Krishna manifested some of his universal form. But those forms are different from this one shown to Arjuna. It is clearly said that no one had ever seen this form before. So now text 48. Nam Veda Yagya Adhyanayair Na Danair Na Veda Yagya Dhyayanair Nadanair Nam Cham Kriya Abhir Nam Tapobhir Ugraihi Nacha Kriyavir Natapobhir Ugraihi Evam Rupaha Shakya Aham Nriloke Evam Rupa Shakya Aham Nriloke Drashtum Tvad Anyena Kuru Pravira Drashtum Tvad Anyena Kuru Pravira Naveda Jagnya Danana Naveda Jagnya Dhyayanar Nadhanair Naveda Jagya Dhyayanar Nadhanair Nacha Kriya Virnatapo Virugrahi Nacha kriya virnatapo virugrahi Evam rupa shakya aham nriloke Drashtum tvadannya kuru pravira Naveda Jagnya Dananair Nadanair Nacha Kriya Virnatapo Virugrahi Evam Rupa Shakya Aham Nriloke Drashtum Tvad Kuru Pravira Naveda Yagya Dayanai Nadanair Nacha Kriya Vinatapo Virugrahi Evam Rupa Shakya Aham Nriloke Drashtum Tvad Anyena Kuru Pravira. Traut sich noch jemand? Ladies? Naveda Yagya Dayanai Nadanair Nacha Kriya Vinatapo Virugrahi Evam Rupa Shakya Aham Nriloke Drashtum tvad anyena kuru pravihiram. Okay, word for word by word translation, please repeat. Nam, never. Veda yajna, by sacrifice. Adhyatmanaihi, or Vedic study. Nam, never. Danaihi, by charity. Nam, never. Cha, also. Kriyabihi, by pious activities. Nam, never. Tapobihi, by serious penances. Ugraihi, severe. Evam rupaha, in this form. Shakyaha, can. Aham, I. Nriloke, in this material world. Drashtum, be seen. Tvat, then you. Anyena, by another. Kuru pravira, O best among the Kuru warriors. Translation on purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances, can I be seen in this form in the material world. Purport. The divine vision in this connection should be clearly understood. Who can have divine vision? Divine means godly. Unless one attains the status of divinity as a demigod, he cannot have divine vision. And what is a demigod? It is stated in the Vedic scriptures that those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu are demigods. Vishnu Bhakta Smrita Devaha. Those who are atheistic, that means who do not believe in Vishnu, or who recognize only the impersonal part of Krishna as the Supreme, cannot have the divine vision. It is not possible to decry Krishna and at the same time have the divine vision. One cannot have the divine vision without becoming divine. In other words, those who have divine vision can also see like Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita gives the description of the universal form. Although this description was unknown to everyone before Arjuna, now one can have some idea of the Vishvarupa after this incident. Those who are actually divine can see the universal form of the Lord. But one cannot be divine without being a pure devotee of Krishna. The devotees, however, who are actually in the divine nature and who have divine vision, are not very much interested in seeing the universal form of the Lord. As described in the previous verse, Arjuna desired to see the 400 form of Lord Krishna as Vishnu, and he was actually afraid of the universal form. In this verse, there are some significant words, just like Veda Yajna Danaihi, which refers to studying Vedic literature and the subject matter of sacrificial regulations. Veda refers to all kinds of Vedic literature, such as the 4 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva, and the 18 Puranas, the Upanishads, and the Vedanta Sutra. One can study these at home or anywhere else. Similarly, there are sutras, Kalpa Sutras and Mimamsa Sutras, for studying the method of sacrifice. Danaihi refers to charity, which is offered to a suitable party, such as those who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Similarly, pious activities refers to the Agnihotra and the prescribed duties of the different castes, and the voluntary acceptance of some bodily pains is called tapasya. So, One can perform all these, can accept bodily penances, give charity, study the Vedas, etc. But unless he is a devotee like Arjuna, it is not possible to see that universal form. Those who are impersonalists are also imagining that they are seeing the universal form of the Lord. But from the Bhagavad Gita we understand that the impersonalists are not devotees. Therefore, they are unable to see the universal form of the Lord. There are many persons who create incarnations. They falsely claim an ordinary human to be an incarnation, but this is all foolishness. We should follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita, otherwise there is no possibility of attaining perfect spiritual knowledge. Although Bhagavad Gita is considered the preliminary study of the science of God, still it is so perfect that it enables one to distinguish what is what. The followers of a pseudo-incarnation may say that they have also seen the transcendental incarnation of God, the universal form, but that is unacceptable because it is clearly stated here that unless one becomes a devotee of Krishna, one cannot see the universal form of God. So one first of all has to become a pure devotee of Krishna. Then he can claim that he can show the universal form of what he has seen. A devotee of Krishna cannot accept false incarnations or followers of false incarnations. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyanangyana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopipakanta Radhakanta Namostate Jayatam Surato Pangor Mamamanda Materigati Matsarvasva Padam Vajo Radhamadana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadru Mada Srimad Radangara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prashtalivi Savamano Smarami Srimandra Sarasarambi Vamsivata Tatastitaha Karsham Veno Swanai Gopir Gopinatha Shriyastunaha Taptakanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavano Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Garadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'll read the verses. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you by my internal potency this supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So this is a very interesting section of the Bhagavad Gita where Srila Prabhupada is talking about divine vision. So this is also the question Prabhupada is answering in the second purport. Who can have divine vision? So divine vision is not something we can easily attain. Sometimes one recommendation that is given in this connection is that you can have divine vision by seeing the world through the scriptures. So this is one way to start, because We might not be the pure devotees of Krishna, like Srila Prabhupada is saying. Only a truly pure devotee, a demigod, somebody who's qualified, will have this divine vision to actually perceive Krishna for who he is. But where we can start is by seeing the world and reality through the Vedic texts. So this is called Shastra Shakshu. Shastra Shakshu means you put the glasses of the Vedas or the Shastra, like this Bhagavad Gita, and the purpose of Srila Prabhupada for us especially, Bhaktivedanta commentaries are for us our Shastra Shakshu. This is how we perceive the world. We take the purports, the Bhaktivedanta, the Bhaktisiddhanta commentaries, and we can get a very good idea of what is what. Very often I remember when we were young devotees, our Bhakta leader used to say, actually, a Bhakta who's gone through the Bhakta program and has read the Bhagavad Gita, he already knows more than the Pope. And seems like a little bit of a daring statement, but that's what our Bhakta leader was telling us. And then he was telling us, it is like this, because because it's not our knowledge, it's not our qualification, it's because we are connected to a unique personality, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is nobody else but a direct devotee of Krishna, a very intimate devotee of Krishna. In many different circumstances, Srila Prabhupada made it very clear that he has a direct connection with Krishna. There's this very famous situation where Srila Prabhupada was reading his own books, and somebody asked him, why are you reading your own books? You wrote them yourselves. And Prabhupada said, no, I didn't write them. They were dictated to me. So, or in other situations, Srila Prabhupada said that that he would consult with Krishna. When he had to take a decision, he said, okay, I will consult with Krishna and I will see what Krishna has to say, and then I'll let you know. Or there's another very famous instance where Srila Prabhupada was saying, this was with a reporter, was asking Srila Prabhupada, how a pure devotee perceives the world, basically this, divya drishti, divine vision. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, yes, a pure devotee is always seeing Krishna. He's seeing Krishna everywhere. Wherever he looks, he's seeing Krishna. And then the reporter was a little bit like, what do you mean? And then one disciple was trying to explain, and he was saying, what Prabhupada means is that, he understands that the energy of Krishna is everywhere, that everything is connected with Krishna, and therefore, he sees Krishna everywhere, And Prabhupada said, no, Krishna directly. So, this is Srila Prabhupada. So we have the incredible mercy, incredible blessing that, if we understand if we read this Bhaktivedanta purports and we hear from Srila Prabhupada, from such a pure devotee, we within a very short time can actually have a very unique understanding and vision of reality, of transcendence, the spiritual world of Krishna. The only situation, of course, is that we might not yet be pure enough to fully implement the theory we have attained, But in theory, we already know quite a lot, A Bhakta who has done the Bhakta program, has read the Bhagavad Gita, knows more than the Pope. Of course, the Pope is just, a titulary position, and there's a really funny story, not funny, actually, a sad story, that Prita Prabhu used to tell from Italy. So in Italy, of course, within Italy, there's the Vatican City, where there's in the middle of Rome, small city-state. It's an independent country, and the Pope is the ultimate authority, of this city, and of course, he's also the authority of the Catholic Church. And they are always looking for Mestina. So Mestina are like children that serve in the church, and they're selected and looked, scouted for by like a whole team of people. They look for this, children that look very angelic, They should look very beautiful, they should look very pure, and, should have nice voices, so they can be there in the church, in the Vatican City, with the Pope, and they're serving the Pope and, performing some tasks, in the Vatican City. So they would travel all over all over Italy and look for this, special children, So somehow they came to know about this girl. She was a devotee in the community of New Vrindavan, Villa Vrindavan in Italy, near Florence, and she was, very smart, very beautiful, and beautiful voice, So somehow they found out about her, and they really wanted her to become a messdiener for the Pope. So they came, the official, legislation from the Vatican City came to the house of these devotees, and they were trying to convince her, And the parents were a little bit detached and said, if she wants, yeah, okay, So they went to the girl and said, would you like to become the messdiener, of the Pope, And she said, no. And then they asked, why? I said, because he's eating cows. He's not a saint, So they were very shocked, But she said it directly, He was very clear, He's eating cows. How can I serve him? I cannot serve him. Sorry. So they had to go away, find another angel somewhere else. So this child, she just grew up with devotees, and she had a very clear idea. This, even he might be the authority of so many people, big religious authority. For her, it was very clear, very simple. Very simple criteria. If he's eating cows, how can he be an authority I can respect? So she declined. So even a child, if you have the right source of knowledge, she can make a very clear distinction. She had a very clear vision. This person is not qualified. I don't want to follow him. I don't want to serve him. So therefore, probably the statement, it's a little bit maybe like, might sound like you're very proud or demeaning to a different religion, but actually there is truth in it. That the authority is not what makes you the position does not give you qualification. This is very important to understand, even within our society. The position is a service, but it's not that the position gives you qualification. You have to become qualified, and then you get the position. So you always have to look for the qualification of the devotees, of the people. You look for the qualification, not for the position. Don't respect the position, respect the qualification. Very, very important, because we can very easily, superficially, of course there are, you could say, some etiquette and manners, like the devotees tell in the beginning of the movement, if you were a senior devotee or a young devotee, was very different than nowadays, Nowadays it's very clear, Akila, Narahari Mataji, Nandimukhi, Suchitra, they're the senior devotees, and we are younger devotees. And there are some devotees in the middle, But back then, they were all just joined, The oldest devotee was 1 year in the temple, and the youngest devotee was 2 days in the temple, So everything in between, there was a very clear hierarchy, So when you've been, you're like, I was 2 weeks before you're here, You have to give me respect. And it was like that, And it's good to practice, respect and respect seniority. But sometimes it can, if it becomes, just artificial, just based on, a number when you arrived, that's not enough, of course. Ultimately, naturally, those who are natural authorities are, you could say, it becomes obvious, who has authority, who has purity, who is a leader, and who is worth taking shelter of and surrendering to. So it's very important that always, when we search for a guru, that we look at the qualification and are not distracted by the position they carry. You know, it's very important. You know, because we can easily be distracted, or because when we choose a guru, we should not choose a guru because of external considerations. You know? You can choose a guru for external considerations. You know? Like I remember when I first met Indra Swami, one of the first times I was traveling with him in Ireland. We did this tour in Ireland, and then we were visiting some devotees, and they made carrot halava. You know, they made some nice carrot halava, and we all were eating this carrot halava. And then Maharaj said, I usually hate carrot halava, but this is the best food I ever had, you know. And I was thinking, yeah, I think the same, you know. I also hate carrot halava, and like, yeah, this is my guru, I think, you know. So, or you can choose a guru for all kind of, you know, superficial, silly reasons, you know. So you have to look much deeper, you know, much deeper. What is really? Why are you really surrendering to this devotee? You know. There might be some superficial things that you know that aren't. You speak the same language, maybe, or you know, but ultimately this is all superficial. The ultimate consideration should be really trying to see the devotion, the qualification, the especially what relationship the spiritual master has with his spiritual master. That's considered to be the main link. So if you find a spiritual master who's truly connected, with Srila Prabhupada or his spiritual master, this is an indication where you have somebody where the mercy is flowing. There is the cables are good. The connection is good. So you can plug yourself, to this line of, mercy and blessings, and superficially you can also say, well, they're all following Srila Prabhupada, like we're also all following Srila Prabhupada. But really it's about bhava ultimately, and it might not so easy to see the bhava of a devotee, the ecstasy, the emotion, the heart ultimately of a devotee. But if we have this great, blessing to, look into the heart of a devotee and really see how he feels about, how much emotion, trust, love somebody has, for his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, you can feel, basically, it's contagious, we might not have this bhava, but when you meet somebody who has this bhava, you immediately are also touched, and it's extremely purifying, to be in the presence of somebody who has this quality is extremely purifying. Just experiencing a few moments, of spiritual ecstasy and bliss, or you could say pure spiritual emotions, can purify you from lifetimes of material conditioning. This is described in the Bhagavad Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it says that even a moment, a short moment of connection with a pure devotee, sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi, lagu mata, sarva siddhi hoy. So lagu mata means fraction of a second. If for a fraction of a second you truly are able to see into the heart of a pure devotee, jackpot. This is the greatest gift you can find, because vision ultimately is what Krishna is also indicating here. He's saying my internal potency. So internal potency means this is something, always the idea of spirituality is, you could say, to look within. Antaranga Shakti, in Sanskrit also. Bahiranga Shakti is the external energy, and Antaranga Shakti is the internal energy. And Antaranga is an indication also, a very simple, clear indication, because we are seated now in these bodies, we are looking out of the eyes, and if we understand a little bit, who we really are, what our position is in relationship to the body, we understand we actually are in a prison. And the eyes are like the windows of this prison cell. And we're looking out of the prison cell. But we are so enamored with this external reality. This external reality is so powerful and so distracting and we're also so engaged, within this external reality, that we constantly become engaged, attached, active, entangled with all kinds of external situations. So when we hear about, Antaranga Shakti or meditation, also the idea is that you focus the mind internally. That means that actually the true reality is inside. So we think we have to go outside, but the more you go outside, actually you're going away from yourself. The more we go within, you might attain some Atma Gyan, some self-realization, some understanding of who we really are, and even better if we have the great blessing to have a pure devotee talking to us, and if we can see Krishna, then by seeing Krishna, automatically also we can see ourselves. And the analogy that we hear in this connection is just like when the sun rises, you can see the sun and also you can see yourself. You can try by your own endeavors, to figure out, it's all dark and you're like, who am I, trying to figure out who you are, Maybe you figure out how to make some light, and you're like, oh, I can see my arms, But if the sun comes out, everything is clear. Very powerful. So that's the idea. It's connected. Srila Prabhupada says also sometimes self-realization and God-realization go hand in hand. Go hand in hand. You cannot separate it from each other. Actually, if you're truly gaining self-realization, you understand that the self has a relationship with Krishna, and the more you understand your relationship with Krishna, the more you understand who you are. And then it becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. So this universal form, like it's mentioned here, was never seen before. This is the main point these two verses are making. Never seen before, not even by studying the Vedas or tapasya or charity, any endeavor which might be very, pious, very powerful, will not give you the qualification. It's ultimately truly by the blessing of Krishna. And a very similar form was of course also shown by Krishna to Mother Yashoda, who's also a very pure devotee, where Krishna was eating earth. Krishna was eating earth. And then Balarama says, hey, Krishna, don't eat earth. And it's like, why not? And so Balaram goes to Mother Yashoda and tells Mother Yashoda, Krishna was eating earth, and Mother Yashoda, you're eating earth? And then Krishna's like, And then Mother Yashoda says, okay, open your mouth, So Krishna opens his mouth, and within his mouth, Mother Yashoda saw the entire universe. She also saw a universal form, a different variation, but also she saw the universal form. She saw all the planets, and then she saw herself looking into Krishna's mouth. And then she became very dizzy. And then she was thinking, oh my God, what kind of sorcery is this? There's some black magic here. Somebody's doing some black magic on my child. I think I should smear some cow dung on him to purify him. So Mother Yashoda took some cow dung, which is considered to be pure, and she smeared Krishna from head to toes in cow dung. And so devotee was making this comment that, this is the mood of Vrindavan. So we were hearing today in the morning this nice lecture by Srila Prabhupada, how Krishna actually enjoys, being treated this way. He enjoys this more, being treated like that than being treated with great respect and honor. When the gopis say, no, you cannot get into the kunja of Radharani. You were naughty. Radharani doesn't want to see you. Get away. And Krishna says, please. And then he disguises himself, and comes, as an astrologer. I will tell the future of Radharani. And then he says to Radharani, You will marry a boy who is very dark and he carries a flute. Another commentary in this connection is that, when Krishna shows his universal form, in the case of Arjuna, Arjuna was shocked, and he was like, oh my God, I made a big mistake, he became ashamed and he was feeling guilty, I made so many offenses. I told you were just my friend. I was so loose and I was making jokes with you. And now I realize you are God. You are the supreme person, and he was very afraid and asking for forgiveness, But if Krishna shows his universal form in Vrindavan, then Mother Yashoda just puts Kaurang on him. So Vrindavan is different, Vrindavan is very different, It's much sweeter, So Mother Yashoda doesn't think he's God, Krishna is God. She just thinks there's some black magic and Deva Bhagavad ki jai. So one devotee commented that so Krishna was thinking, maybe I shouldn't show any more Aishwarya Bhav in Vrindavan, It just goes wrong, But this is very sweet, very deep. And of course this Leela, and also another very similar Leela of the Damodar Leela, in a similar age of Krishna, where the rope binds Krishna's belly, Dhamma Udara. This month is a very unique month, and I was just hearing from Narjuna Maharaj. He was saying that this month, or one of the names of Radharani is Kartika Devi, Kartika Devi. So actually it's her month, It's the month of Radharani, and that's why it's such a powerful month, very unique month. And generally, Krishna performs many very, you could say, amazing tasks actually in Vrindavan. He lifts the Govardhan hill, and he, protects his friends. But in the case of the Damodar Leela, actually he is bound. He's bound by love and the determination of his devotee. So it's considered to be a very unique Leela, where Krishna is not showing his, might, but actually showing his true nature, that he surrenders to his devotees. And any vrata or any extra spiritual endeavor that you do during this month, directly Srimati Radharani will be rewarding, it says. And that's why it's such a powerful month. If you perform any vrata, even if it's only, I'll eat, one scoop of rice less every day, or I will chant one round extra Hare Krishna every day, or any type of, if you have some bad habit, you can also try to say, this month I will stop it. So any special endeavor that you do in spiritual life in this month is Radharani herself, giving blessings and supporting it. And Narjuna Maharaj was saying how it's very important, because ultimately Srila Prabhupada is saying that Radharani is the one who will recommend us to Krishna. So if you want a recommendation from Radharani to Krishna, this is the month, Show Radharani that you're serious, that you really want Krishna. So it's a very great opportunity. Every year we get this opportunity again and again. Sometimes we might take it more seriously and less seriously. In any case, just participating, it's an event, it's a blessing. Offering lamps to Damodar, it's an incredible blessing. And if you make some extra endeavors, you can get a lot of mercy. In the 4th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is one very interesting and deep section where Srila Prabhupada is talking about Bhakti Devi. Bhakti Devi. Bhakti Devi is Radharani. And he says that Bhakti Devi cannot be conquered by anything, actually. You cannot really control Bhakti Devi. Not even Krishna can control Bhakti Devi. But Prabhupada then says, but there's one trick. Bhakti Devi likes if somebody is sincere and determined. So if we are sincere and determined, Radharani will give us blessings. So we should be sincere and determined. Any questions? Any additions? Okay, yes.
It's better not to have a microphone. I remember the point you mentioned see the inner bhava of a pure devotee. This is like the real connection. And sorry to claim this, but I remember when we saw the emotions of Sri Radyun Maharaj, how much inspiration and like a push and faith it gave me just in the whole process. Yeah, and Krishna consciousness changed because when he was glorifying Prabhupada and showing this devotion and sincerity to Prabhupada, it was just really something I've never seen in my life. Whenever I remember it, it's just left a very big impression. Just reflecting what you said, you see pure beauty.
Yeah, because one thing I can see in Arjuna Swami is that he always had, when he talks about Srila Prabhupada, he had this almost mad desire to get blessings. Like very many stories he tells when he was in the presence of Srila Prabhupada. There's one really nice story when he was traveling with Srila Prabhupada from America to Paris, and Srila Prabhupada was eating an orange, and he was peeling the orange, and he was giving the peels to Srila Prabhupada, to Indra Maharaj. So he kept that peels, and he kept them for many, I don't know how long, maybe many months, maybe even a few years. And every day he was eating just a little bit of those peels, So he was really like, there's a very strong mood of really trying, like any mercy, any form of blessing you can gather from the spiritual master. Of course, ultimately by following the instructions, but also on a very personal level, a deep faith and appreciation for the spiritual master. It's very sweet. It's very simple. And I'll tell you one story which is really interesting. There's one devotee who was in Mumbai, and it might be a little bit shocking if you hear it, but I'll tell you anyway. This devotee, his name is Karuna Maya. He's also a Prabhupada disciple from Dominican Republic. And at that time, there were very few devotees from Dominican Republic, but he was one of the devotees from Dominican Republic, and he was in India serving Srila Prabhupada, actually, in the last year. And the building where Srila Prabhupada was staying in Mumbai was built, and his rooms were ready, but the canalization was not done yet, So they had to use some pots, for Prabhupada's toilet also. So his service was to take this, away every day. So the first day he did it, he took it down and he's like, I cannot throw this away, So he said, okay, at least I have to, and he just took a shower in the So it's extreme, it seems, materially speaking, disgusting, but he had this, for him, he just had to do it, It's not something you can imitate, not to be recommended, but it's a natural urge, that he couldn't resist, and it's not material, it's not material. Okay. Du wolltest noch was fragen?
Ja, also ja, das hat jetzt auch ein bisschen über die Ligas gesprochen.
Mhm.
You spoke of the Leelas with Krishna, so I have a question because today I read the chapter where Brahma prays to Krishna after he stole the cows, and he says that Krishna is the mightiest yogi. So yeah, and then Brahma speaks about the Bhagavad Gita, but I thought the Bhagavad Gita was not yet spoken.
Bhagavad Gita is an eternal text. It's eternal wisdom. And Krishna talked to Arjuna 5,635 years ago, more or less. But in the Bhagavad Gita himself, Krishna says that I talked this knowledge before to Surya, to the sun god, and he gave it to Ikshvaku, and Ikshvaku gave it to Manu, and Manu gave it to Ikshvaku, and so on. So the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita are actually 4 verses. This is 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, and 10.11. This is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And this 4 verses, the essence of those 4 verses manifest again in different situations. The Bhagavad Gita is spoken again and again and again. So the Bhagavad Gita is not only spoken at the at the Kurukshetra battle. This is the last time it was spoken, but it's eternal knowledge. Yes.
So we could have a different version.
Yes. If you lived 100 million years ago, it says that when the Krishna spoke, Krishna actually calculates it, and he says that the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Vivasvan 200 million years ago. So back then there was, if you, or also like, because technically Krishna gave the Gita to Vivasvan, Vivasvan gave it to Manu, Manu gave it to Ikshvaku, and Ikshvaku is in the line of the Raghuvamsa, which is the line of Ram, So Sri Ram, according to our calculation, lived around a little bit over 1 million years ago. Sri Ramachandra in Treta Yuga. So yeah, probably at that time, in the Raghuvamsa, in the line of the kings that directly heard the Bhagavad Gita, they probably had the Bhagavad Gita from Vivasvan. And then Krishna says this knowledge then gets lost. In time it gets lost, and then it's renewed again in different situations. Yes. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.